Discussion on surplus buses.
Don't mind, Mr. Christian. I'd like Rolando Benavides to come forward. He has an update regarding a couple of our buses that are scheduled for surplus and a potential option for us to explore.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Benavides.
Morning. Have two buses that fell off of as of last year. Like I said, we had a couple of buses that was going to be surplus, and they were going to be took out of service from our standpoint as far as hauling students go. We did get word from the Shepherd Center that a couple of buses would really meet some of their needs for what they were doing as well. So what we were going to try to you all as far as being able to get those surplus buses instead of reselling them on the surplus site for get money back with them, have them donated to Shepherd Center to eat for what they needed.
I'd like to approve to declare two buses as surplus items. This listed that we have on paper here for the two international buses, 66 passenger with the VIN numbers that are included, and to donate them to the Shepherd Center for the lunchbox meal program.
Just point of clarification. I think if you wouldn't mind, Jackie, if you could amend that to surplus those buses first, we need to take action. We need to take action on the surplus first and then the donation separately.
Okay, well, let's surplus them first.
I'll second the surplus.
To declare and surplus.
We have to take board action to surplus those items so that they come off our inventory list at the state. And if we don't do that, it may be not clear that we're surplusing those. If we just
separate it.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you say it again?
Please.
Approval to declare two buses as surplus items. The two 2002 international buses, 66 passengers with the VIN numbers included.
I second that.
Motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? If none, Ms. Jennifer.
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, I have a question.
Yes.
And it's a procedural question. Are we kind of boxing ourselves into a corner when we do this? Because what about other ministries? What are other denominations? I mean, do we not have a protocol that we have to exercise to make sure we're not discriminating a group? Since we're a public organization, would we not be bound to all the civil rights?
Mr. Larkin, I think that we've donated buses in the past to different organizations that have made the request, or we as a board see a need in the community. And I think that considering what our community and region is going through, anything that could be positive, such as this, to help feed our community and for what One Accord Ministry means to this county, I think that we need to move forward and do whatever we need to. And if there's any repercussions from that in the future, we'll deal with it then.
It'll always be on a case-by-case basis.
It can be.
I agree 100%, and I'm in full support of the ministry and would like to see it. I just don't want the district to get into a legal suit because we haven't done our due diligence. And I would like to see a legal opinion from Mr. Phillips before we actually take that action to make sure we haven't stepped over our boundaries.
Okay, well.
And I'll vote accordingly, so.
Larkins, would you feel more comfortable if we amend the motion to state pending legal review so that we can move forward with that motion?
I certainly would give it a yes vote if it had that amendment. Otherwise, I'll probably be voting negative. So I would amend.
I will state that we would entertain at any point any request from such an organization for donations. This is the only organization that did make the request, and it actually came from a newspaper article, and then we wound up speaking to that individual on the phone. So I will go on public record that if there's others in the future that have such needs, they can make that request of us. And if we're able to accommodate and the board approves, we would follow the same procedure at that point.
Every church in Tennessee that has a bus ministry would like for us to give them a bus, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So I just want to be fair about this and make sure we're on good, solid legal ground before we do this. So, yeah, I'd love to have Mr. Phillips' input as to the legality of it.
Are you asking for an amendment to the motion?
Yes, sir. I would ask the amendment for it to be amended in that we seek legal advice on it, and if approved, that we go ahead and approve as motion made.
Okay, so we need to vote on the amendment. Is there a second on Mr. Larkin's amendment?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion on Mr. Larkin's amendment? If not, Ms. Jennifer, call the roll.
Surplus the two, but
We can surplus, right?
This is
What part of,
We've never voted on
no,
it.
we're just trying to approve the
We don't have a
surplus is
motion
where we
on the
were.
floor to give them away yet.
Yeah. What are we amending, the surplus? That's where we are.
Well, I thought your motion included the surplus plus the donation.
So I went back and remended that.
no that
Amended, I said remended.
Jackie's corrected motion was to move forward with surplus and the buses first.
So
Okay.
you want to, let's take action on surplusing the buses and then come back to Mr. Larkin's amendment to Jackie's.
We haven't made that one yet.
Right, it's not
You
been
can't amend
made.
something till you make it.
Right. That's true. So,
Right now, we're surplusing. We need to
We're
vote
surplus.
to approve the surplus.
okay. So we're getting ready to vote on the motion to surplus. Only to surplus. Is there any further discussion? If none, Ms. Jennifer, call the roll.
Charles,
Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
Craddock, Hicks,
Yes.
Larkins,
Yes.
Eden,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
The motion passes. The buses will be surplus. Now, before we move forward with the second part, can we try to get Kathy back on? Like I said, it's difficult times. It's hard to. No. Any word from Kathy? Okay, let's move on while we're waiting on Kathy to get back online. Would you like to have the floor?
All right. And then I'd like to make a motion to donate to the Shepherd Center the two buses that we surplus for the lunchbox meal program. I second that.
And now Mr. Larkin's amendment to the motion has been made, and we have a second from Ms. Shedd.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any further
Wayne, can you
discussion?
hear me?
Welcome back, Ms. Craddock.
I don't know what happened, but anyway.
Okay, you're with us.
All right, good.
The amendment would be, can you read that, Ms. Jennifer?
How did the last vote go? I wanted to vote.
We surplus the buses.
Okay, that's fine. I was going to vote for it.
The amendment
Okay.
is to state the two buses that we just surplus to the Shepherd Center lunchbox program pending legal advice.
With no
Okay.
further discussion, Ms. Jennifer, call the roll on the amendment.
Chris,
Amendment,
Yes.
how are we going to know? Will Matt let us know what Mr. Phillips has to say regarding this?
If the amendment passes and that's the motion or that's the action taken by the board, yes, I will email all of the entire board, letting you know of his guidance for this.
And if there are laws, or if there's something in the law that conflicts with this, how will that affect our vote today?
Well, we still voted to surplus. So if we're not able to proceed forward with the donation for whatever reason, based on any law, any conflicting law that would prohibit that from moving forward, my recommendation would be that I bring that back to the board with the proper legal steps in place to make that donation.
Okay. Have we ever put items on bid and let nonprofits go about it that way, so that
Excuse me, point of order. We're going to go ahead and vote on the amendment.
sorry.
But can I have another question about that? But you said in the past we have donated to other
Yes.
surplus items to organizations.
And
correct?
I can answer that question real quick.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Any item that's surplus, Ms. Shedden, does go on open auction, and anybody, even nonprofits, can bid on those items, even private citizens.
Okay.
May I say something, please? May I say something? I feel like we have a policy that says, and I might be wrong because I don't have it in front of me, but I thought we passed a policy that said if it's over X amount of dollars that we have to put it online. We have to put it for bid. Is that not right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so, not on surplus.
Not if
Okay.
it's a-
All right. That's fine if it isn't. I just know we discussed that at one time.
I thought all surplus property had to be offered for bid.
I did too, Bob.
I did too.
I thought we made that. I thought we put that in a policy.
Just give them the buses.
I know we spent a lot of time talking about it. Now, what we did, it's just been a while and I don't remember. I don't have the policy in front of me.
I'll be honest with the board. I just don't think we've done our due diligence in doing this. I think it's certainly the right motive to do this, but I think we just need to slow down at least a month and make sure that we've got everything done the right way.
Do we have any way of just donating instead of making it surplus?
No,
There's no way that we
Still,
can.
you have to surplus.
You have to surplus.
But it's a nonprofit.
this is public property.
It's going to a nonprofit entity.
And I'm all for it. My concern is that we may be violating our own policy, and I think we do need Mr. Phillips' input.
I agree.
Under surplus property 2.403, it says when equipment, books, materials, or other personal school property no longer have an intended use by the system or are no longer capable of being used. As of condition, the board shall declare them surplus property and authorize their disposal, sale, or transfer in accordance with state laws and procedures promulgated by the Board of Education.
We're within our rights to donate it.
I disagree.
I think there's something in state law because the bus was bought with taxpayer money essentially, and we're choosing which entity to donate that to without opening it up to
Everyone.
and I'm a big proponent of Shepherd's Center, but it's just the principle of this. I don't think it's right.
Let's take a vote on the amendment. Then we got to wait on Judy to get back. Because we
And
got
have her to read the amendment one more time.
To donate the 2 surplus buses to the Shepherd Center Lunchbox Program pending legal advice.
That's the motion. Now we're back together. That's the amendment.
You got her hand up.
Ms. Jennifer, call the roll.
Debbie's got her hand
We
up.
got discussion.
Excuse me?
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, if we were to vote yes and Mr. Phillips came back and said, no, you are not within the legal rights of this, then our vote would be nullified? Or that vote would be nullified?
If in my determination, and I'm open for debate on this, but when you say pending legal review, if the legal review says you should not proceed, it needs to come back to the board for further discussion minimally.
Okay.
So we would not proceed for the staff would not proceed forward with the donation unless we come back to and discuss it with the board.
Okay.
Would it not be cleaner just to go ahead and put this up for bid and let Shepherd Center bid $1 and make it cleaner and legal and be done with it?
No, because when you put it up to bid, it's for anybody and everybody. They could bid $2 and the Shepherd Center wouldn't get it.
But that's what it's supposed to be, Chris. It's supposed to be anybody and everybody.
Thanks for the question.
That's the thing.
That's what the bidding process is for.
We're voting on the amendment. Mr. Larkin's amendment.
Grant,
Yes.
Eden,
Yes.
Larkins,
Yes.
Well, what else are we gonna do? Are we gonna have another motion?
Go ahead. We're voting.
We're voting.
Go ahead, okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Larkins,
Yes.
Hicks,
No.
Braddock,
Yes.
Christian,
No.
Charles.
No. I can't change my vote.
4 yeses.
The amendment passes.
No change in votes.
But now, what I did vote for, let's get this correct.
You did vote.
Now we have to still, you're gonna ask, Philip.
So what I will do moving forward after today's meeting is I will consult with Mr. Phillips on our legality with donating the 2 state buses.
I take the whole month?
Okay.
Okay.
Within a day or two.
Next on our agenda is discussion on Hawkins County Schools reopening plan for the 2020-2021 school year.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, we got a motion on the floor.
We'll do.
Got a motion on the floor. I make a motion, we table the original. I mean, we get the legal.
I second.
I didn't hear the motion.
I make the motion that we table the motion to give the buses to One Accord Ministry until we have received the legal advice.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Does it behoove us to vote on the motion pending legal advice? We don't need to be voting on something that we have no clue what it is we're voting on.
I get that, but that, we table that, does that mean we have to go back for another vote?
Absolutely.
So it could be another month, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
they
not
need to-
necessarily.
A town meeting, but they need the buses
Can you
now.
put executive approval?
Mr. Chairman, I'll amend my motion to approve before the board to give executive approval to the buses if it's within our right to surplus them and donate them to One Accord Ministry.
Thank you.
Okay. I will second that. Everybody understand where we're at?
I do.
Run over it one more time what we're voting on.
Okay. We're tabling the donation of the 2 buses pending legal advice from our board attorney.
Okay.
And when we receive the advice from the attorney, then executive approval will be allowed to approve the donation. If the legal advice says, yes, you can.
And if it says no, you can't, we'll come back as a board to.
We'll come back. We'll have to come back as a board, or it'll just go to surplus.
It's surplus.
It just surpluses. We don't come back.
Okay.
Burning desire by the board to pursue the donation.
Correct. Depending on legal advice from Mr. Phillips. Call the roll, Ms. Jennifer.
So we're voting on the amendment.
It's a table.
To table the motion. We're voting to table the motion. The motion. The amendment has already passed. Yeah, you're right. Excuse me, Jennifer. That's my fault. We put on the amendment to table first. You're right. Good job.
Charles, Christian,
Yes.
Braddock,
Yes.
Hick, Larkins,
Yes.
Eden,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Of the motion.